What's going on, guys? CG Matt back. Over the weekend, we got a couple of NBA updates and rumors. This is per Brett Siegel. Ja Morant is expected to generate interest around the league, with Sacramento Kings, Minnesota Timberwolves, Miami Heat being the teams that previously held interest in the Grizzlies star guard. We also got this. Warriors have serious interest in Michael Porter Jr. Warriors brass is debating whether they want to include Jonathan Kuminga. I'll spoil that right now. It feels like there's no other option than to include him, but do the Brooklyn Nets want him? Probably not. But we could talk about Ja Morant trade ideas. How are we going to do that? Wha-bam, we're back. Fanspo Trade Finder, baby. Don't forget to like, subscribe if you enjoy the video. Simple stuff. So obviously, the man that's leaving the Memphis Grizzlies is Ja Morant. Why is he down here? No idea. He's being traded to the Miami Heat in this package I have. Why would the Heat do this? I'll paraphrase it by giving you a reason why these teams should do this. The Heat don't have a long-term point guard to commit to. Davion Mitchell's a quality player. I'll admit that. He's also 27 and not a lead guard. He's a solid player. Again, 10 points per game, 3 rebounds, 7 assists. Like, he's a very rock-solid player. But he's not a building block, again, as he is 27 years of age and not really a creator with the ball as much. Still a really good player. But you look around the Miami Heat and you see just a bunch of, like, all right, pieces, right? Like, I see Pelle Larsson, and I love Pelle Larsson. I think he's a great player in transition. I don't know who he reminds me of. There's a lot of guys that he does. He gets out in transition. He's very effective on the break. But is he a building block? I'm not sure. He's 24. He doesn't have the skills of the game down set yet, like jump shooting and stuff like that is very inconsistent. We also have Kasparas Giacochonis, who is another very interesting player that hasn't really gotten the chance to play much this season. Obviously, Giacochonis, I believe he showed out in Summer League from what I remember. Jaime Jaquez is in here, who's, by the way, Pelle Larsson being the same age as Jaime Jaquez is a little bit weird, because I remember Jaime Jaquez at UCLA playing with, who was the other guy he was playing with? It was Jaime Jaquez, and he played for Utah, the other guy. I can't remember his name right now. He went to UCLA. He went Johnny Juzang. Bang. He played for the Jazz. You got Kel'el Ware. That's a very solid building block. Kel'el Ware will be there long term. He's not a part of this trade, not even coming close to this trade. Nikola Jovic is an interesting player because he has shown some stuff. He's only 22 years old, but at the same time, Miami Heat already extended him, gave him a decent amount of money for what felt like no reason. I mean, this is they folded under zero pressure to a T. Nobody was going to give Nikola Jovic 15 to 16 million off of 9, 4, and 3. Nobody was going to do that. That just felt unnecessary, to be honest with you. He's very unproven, but I don't know if he's going to come near this trade. The Miami Heat just don't have very many young building blocks that are like staples. Ja Morant is still only, how old is Ja Morant? 26. Like, he's a year younger than Davion. He's already shown more than Davion with his ability to score over 20 and still give you the 8 assists that Davion Mitchell does. It's a very interesting trade for the Miami Heat. Obviously, it would probably have to include someone like Terry Rozier. Now, I've already kind of been through this rigmarole with Terry Rozier where it's like, can he be traded? I think he can, but can he play? No. No, he can't play. He's still under federal investigation for gambling, so there is no chance of him really playing, but he is an expiring contract that is movable, I believe. Well, as you can tell, Ja Morant's making closer to $40 million. Terry Rozier is making 26, which means we still have to make some money work. I believe then we would have to include somebody like an Andrew Wiggins. I would want to. Obviously, Norm Powell's having an incredible all-star caliber season. I think they want to keep him. Tyler Hero, I'm not exactly sure. Him and Norman Powell, a lot closer of a gap than people think. They're basically the same player archetype. They just shoot a ton. They can both score 20. I mean, look at their stats. They're almost identical. They're literally averaging the same. They have the same PER, player efficiency rating. They're both averaging 24 points per game. Hero averages more assists. He's a better passer. But all around, they just kind of feel like redundant skill sets. I'm not saying that means one of them's definitely getting involved in the trade, but it could very well happen. Especially a guy like Norm. While I love Norm, and again, he's having an all-star caliber season, he's 32. Right? And Miami doesn't really have a chance of winning it all this year. Neither does the Grizzlies, but he's on a one-year deal as well. Are you going to extend a 32-year-old? Extend a 32-year-old with a young core growing in. I don't necessarily know if I like the idea of keeping Norman Powell, but I think I'm gonna because I don't want to offend the Miami Heat fans. They love their guy, and I love Norm too. I love a little Norm Powell here and there too. Jovic's contract hasn't kicked in, so I wouldn't be able to apply that. Jovic wouldn't be a bad thought. because maybe the Grizzlies think they can get more out of him, and he's already extended. If I were to throw Andrew Wiggins as the other pairing of this trade, I think I would need to clear a little bit more money, and that would include me throwing who in here? I think I got to make up like $5 million. So if I'm going to be honest, it feels like this is a John Conchar spot. He's making $6 million, and would I give up? This is the hard part. Would I give up any picks? Not exactly sure if the Heat would be giving up a ton of picks here. Look at what the Hawks got for Trae Young. The gap between a Ja Morant and a Trae Young, is it that wide? I don't know if I'm willing to give up picks in this. They might give up a young player, but like, I don't know. Maybe a Drew Smith. He's not even young. He's 28, for Christ's sake, but he's a stopper. Drew Smith is a stopper, for Christ's sake. So is Myron Gardner. I watched the Heat the other day. Myron Gardner can get some stops here and there, too. I have not seen this guy play. Vladislav Goldin, haven't seen him play this year. Keshad Johnson had a nasty putback dunk like 2 weeks ago. That's all I know about him. This trade would 100% go through, I believe. Yeah, it does. It absolutely goes through. This is just a really, really difficult thing to work through, though. Because, again, you saw the value that the Hawks got for Trae Young. It was close to nothing. An expiring CJ McCollum, an expiring Terry Rozier, and a guy with multiple years left on his deal in a wing in Corey Kispert. A guy with multiple years left on his deal and a wing in Andrew Wiggins. Ja Morant and John Conchar. I'm sorry I had to give up John Conchar, Grizzlies fans. I don't think you really love him. I think you love him, but I don't think he's that important in the grand scheme of things. The 2-2-1 stat line. He's from Purdue. I did not know that. He's also 30. His date of birth's in March, so he's going to be 30 this season. It's okay for trading John Conchar. I don't know if they'd be giving up any picks. Why do they still have a UFA on Jordan Mickey? He's 31. All right, whatever. Either way, I don't know if there'd be picks involved just because the Trae Young trade netted the Hawks almost nothing. Would the Ja Morant trade be better? I don't think so. Now, there was another report I saw that said the Kings would be open to trading for Trae Young under one condition. Under the condition that the Memphis Grizzlies take not Zach LaVine, they are going to be taking DeMar DeRozan, they are going to be taking Devin Carter, and they'll be taking draft compensation, which shouldn't be a lot because, again, if Trae Young's trade interest was not high at all, what makes Ja Morant's much better? Ja Morant has played similar amount of games. I'm just going to give up 3 second-round picks. I'm sorry. I don't know if they're going to be able to make this trade work, though, because they do have to make another $1 million up. So maybe it's a little bit more than just a Devin Carter. Kings can only... So I need to cut $10 million off the Kings. Take the picks off. They need to get $10 million off their books stat. How do they do that? They don't have like a $10 million guy. Malik Monk's making 18. Dennis is making 14. Dennis is suspended because he punched Luka in the tunnel after a game. I'm not even joking. That's really what happened. Malik Monk. But then, like, if I did Malik Monk, would the Grizzlies be able to take that? Yeah, it would work, but like, I don't know. I don't know how this trade would work. The Kings literally said we don't want Ja Morant unless they're willing to take DeMar DeRozan, Devin Carter, and draft compensation. Well, the thing is, the draft compensation doesn't cover the remaining $9 million they have to make up to make the contracts work, and so they would have to add something more. And Malik Monk has been getting CDDNPs, except for yesterday, where he had a nasty dunk. Maybe there's a third team that gets involved, and then we move Malik Monk's contract elsewhere. But as for right now, I don't know if that trade's going to work simply off monetarily, at least in the Fanspo trade finder. But the Sacramento Kings, why would they trade for a Ja Morant type? Their point guard situation is 32-year-old Dennis Schroeder, 37-year-old Russell Westbrook, and their young guys are all wings. Nick Clifford is a wing. Keegan Murray is a wing. Keon Ellis is an off guard, not a true point guard. He's closer to like, he could be like a Davion Mitchell type. They already had Davion Mitchell, though. Is a big no-no, apparently, for the Kings. They don't want a defensive stopper guard. So they don't have a ton of young guards. And while Ja Morant, again, is 26 years old, it does kind of help your timeline a little bit. And Devin Carter's not a bad player, only 23 years old. Sure, his hairline's cooked just like mine is, but by God, he's a hustle player. Devin Carter's not really an averages guy. Like, if I look at his stats, only played 8 games in 2025. 65 grand total minutes. He has how many total points this season? Where is that? 17. Yeah, not a real scorer, more of a hustle player. But if that's what it takes for them to get Ja Morant, that's what it would take. That's all they would take, though. They said that they literally want nothing to do with him if it's not for DeMar DeRozan, Devin Carter, and draft capital. They want nothing to do with Ja Morant if that's not the trade. Minnesota Timberwolves time, $39 million for Ja Morant. Who can I trade here that could cover that for the Minnesota Timberwolves? It might have to be something along the lines of, I don't know how I'm going to do this. Conley and DiVincenzo only make up $21 million. I would still have to make up a good amount of money. It would have to be like Julius. I don't know, man. Julius did a really good job on Wemby yesterday. He did a really good job on Wemby yesterday. He forced an out of bounds. Like he was hounding the guy. Wemby is a great player, but if you can get a bigger guard, like Julius Randle might be perfect to guard Wemby. He's 6'9" and he's big bodied. Like, he might be the perfect Wemby stopper. KC is picking up their phone as I say that out loud. They're like, wait, he can stop Wemby? We need that. Jokes, of course, jokes. But $39 million is really, really hard to make up for on this Minnesota Timberwolves team, because it's really either you're getting paid a lot of money, Anthony Edwards, Rudy Gobert, Julius Randle, even Jaden McDaniels making a decent amount, or you're making like nothing. Rob Dillingham, Johan Berenger, Terrence Shannon, Joe Ingles, Bones. If it includes trading Julius Randle, it'd be really difficult, right? Because obviously Julius Randle's a very tough defender. He fits them a little bit better in terms of like their defensive identity, but spacing wise, I don't think much changes. Sometimes the Timberwolves have spacing issues where it's like they don't have enough shooting on the floor. They just don't a lot of the time, especially when it's Julius Randle and Rudy Gobert at the same time. Does that get any better if Ja Morant's on the floor? Because he also can't shoot. Desperate for guard play. Do they have anyone averaging like 7 assists on their team? No. Not even, well, kind of close with Julius Randle, who's averaging 6. But otherwise than that, they're not a high assist team. So I don't even know what they would trade here. It would have to be Julius and then maybe like Mike. That's about it. There's not much more they can do. I don't know how I would have to make this up. It would go through, but I don't like it. I don't really like it. I've been trying to mock the Timberwolves a point guard. I think they'd be better just taking a smaller guard, a lower level guard, not so much as a star guard like a Ja Morant. I looked at the cap holds from the Minnesota Timberwolves, by the way. 2 cap holds on guys that are now podcasters or announcing games. I believe Austin Rivers is doing commentary now, and Evan Turner's a podcaster. That's pretty funny. They do have a couple of trade exceptions. One's for $14 million, and then the other one's an Akil one. One's $5 million. Like, it's not a ton. But, I mean, maybe you could throw that in there and say that. So what if we get rid of Julius Randle, and then we add Dante, and then we go over to the trade exception? I don't think it's automatically applicable when necessary. It still wouldn't go through. It's just not possible. This just doesn't feel very doable unless they trade Julius Randle. And at that point, it's kind of a lateral move. No offense to Ja Morant, but he doesn't fit the Timberwolves' defensive identity as much as you would like. He's not a defender. That's literally just what the problem is. He's not a defensive player. And on top of that, he doesn't fix any of the spacing issues that they have where they're like non-shooters are on the floor. Ja Morant's also a non-shooter. So if they're not going to respect Julius Randle at the perimeter, they're not going to respect Ja Morant on the perimeter either. Lastly, we're going to call this John Horst's Hail Mary. Ja Morant to the Bucks. Who would they have to give up? I think they'd probably give up Ryan Rollins. That's the young player that they can say, oh, we got a young player back. They can give up Kyle Kuzma because horrific player. And I don't think they would have to give up much after that because Ryan Rollins is a solid player. Maybe they give up like a second-round pick. Nothing too crazy. Would this go through? It would not. Bucks need to give up $5 million. 5. That's Kevin Porter Jr. on the dollar, basically. Would I give up KPJ as well? They would have like no guard depth is the issue if they did this, because KPJ is just their other, like the guy that can take the ball up. Like nothing crazy. I don't want to give up KPJ. What if I did BP? If I did BP, then the Grizzlies would probably have to give someone back. I don't even think they would do BP either because they're already giving up Kyle Kuzma. They need their front court depth. Giannis is there, Miles Turner's there, but after that, it's just a bunch of guards. Taurean Prince's ass. So the main thing holding this back, again, this is something that I'm just like, I don't think is going to happen. The main thing holding this back is that Ryan Rollins can't be traded until the 15th. So I guess let's take Ryan Rollins out of the equation, and let's just do contracts. Kuzma, Portis. Kuzma and BP make up, what's that, 35 million. Ja's making 39 million. So Ryan Rollins fits that so perfectly. Would this go through just baseline like this? It would. BP, Kyle Kuzma for Ja Morant. It would go through. Obviously, if this was going to happen, the Bucks would probably be giving up picks because these aren't expiring deals. Part of the reason why the Trae Young Atlanta Hawks trade worked, or the Trae Young Washington trade worked out so well, is because CJ McCollum's on the last year of his deal, right? Neither Bobby nor Kuz, I believe, are on the expiring deals. Yeah, Kuzma's still got a solid 19 for next year. So that's why they would give up draft capital, is because these aren't expiring deals. These are guys that are going to be on your contracts. Kyle Kuzma is a fucking poison pill, essentially. He's not that good, and on top of that, like, what does he do? What does he provide? Actually cooked the Lakers not that long ago. If I did this 2021 second round or first round pick, and then I threw in just a second round pick in there as well. Maybe they're not both 2026. Maybe it's the 2031 pick and the 2026 second. Either way, this trade would go through, and I'm calling it Horse Hail Mary because that's what it is. It's John Horse Hail Mary, his last attempt at doing anything involving Giannis. And then worst come worst, if you trade Giannis, you gave up not a lot. Kuzma, Portis, whatever. And you get Ja Morant, who could still be maybe some excitement for a fan base that if they trade Giannis won't have much excitement, if at all. So it's someone that you could still hold up and be like, hey guys, come watch him play if he does play. But that's another issue with Ja Morant. Staying on the fucking court is a problem for him. So this would work out well. This would work out perfectly. It would leave the Bucks with a good amount of guard depth. Ryan Rollins, KPJ are still there. AJ Green's still there. Gary Trent's still there. Even Gary Harris is still there, if you care. And it would take away a lot of their front court depth. I'll agree to that. So maybe they ask for a wing in return. Maybe they do something like, hey guys, we're giving you a couple of wings here. We need a wing back. We're not trying to have no front court depth for it. Jock Landale, it fucking is. Because Jock Landale, does this go through? It still does. Jock Landale's having a fantastic season. He's 30 years old. Get him out of Memphis. He's having a great year. The guy is 16 to 35 from 3 right now, and that's going up because Trade Machine, this is behind. He was 16 to 35 the other day. He had like 3 or 4 threes like a game or two ago. He's making threes. He's playing good defense. Get Jock Landale on a competitive team. This trade would work out perfectly, almost, I would say. And I know some Bucks fans are like, why are we giving up a pick for Ja Morant? Because, again, the guys that you're giving up in this trade, Portis, Kuzma, are not expiring deals. They have years left on their contract. They're poison pills, essentially. Just guys to make the money work. So what do you have to give up? A first-round pick and a second-round pick to compensate for the fact that the guys that you're giving up, they're going to have to hold on to. And in return, they get a backup center, a really quality backup center, by the way. They say roll and cut big. Jock Landale's a three-point big now. He can step out and knock down. He also hits mid-range shots now. Like, they isolated him in the post yesterday. I'm not shitting you. I watched the Grizzlies game. 2 possessions in a row, they isolated Jock Landale in the post. Again, I wish I was joking. I'm not. But this trade would work, and I don't mind it. It's Horse Hail Mary. This is what I was talking about earlier. This is Mark Stein reporting this. He's very accredited and very valuable in the NBA world. Mark Stein is a quality follow. They said Sacramento's position could change if Memphis was prepared to accept the package headlined by DeMar DeRozan, Devin Carter, and draft capital. It's the only thing the Kings really wanted to give up. So that's just where they're at with that. The Bucks have shown interest also in Zach LaVine, which is another team that I think I can workshop. Thing is, Zach LaVine's making $47 million, folks. $47 million. Kuzma, you're in there. Probably, I mean, they might have to give up Miles just because they need. You can't give up Miles. You just can't. Why? Because then they have no center. They just don't have a center after that. So they'd be giving up 35 million, bringing in 47. This isn't going to go through at all, is it? No, because the Bucks only need to give up 2.5 million. So this can definitely work. Taurean Prince, count your fucking days, pal. Goodbye. Goes through Kyle Kuzma, Bobby Portis, and Taurean Prince for Zach LaVine. Why am I not giving up any draft capital? because Zach LaVine's on one of the worst contracts in basketball. It isn't expiring after this year. It goes into a 1-year deal. Then it becomes a little bit more manageable. But for today, right now, $47 million for Zach LaVine is quite outrageous. I'm not giving up any picks for that, by the way, because of the fact that, again, the Bucks are giving up not a lot, and the Kings are giving up not a lot. Milwaukee would have to pick somebody up to keep the standard 14 players on the roster. They can figure that out. Go sign Mike James or something. So Zach LaVine is a Buck. Why would they do this? This is all just horse heaves, horse last chance, his last breath. He's trying to do something to revive this team and get them to where they could be in the playoffs. And Zach LaVine might help. I said might help. Might help. Again, I didn't give up Ryan Rollins or any of the young guys like that. Ryan Rollins is just about the only young guy because Zach LaVine's a poison pill of a contract. All right, lastly, Brooklyn Nets. Where can MPJ go again? I workshopped it a few days ago. Did it on this exact channel, by the way. Subscribe if you're new. I work the trade machine around here a good amount. Recently, I have at least. Gotten a lot of traction from it. Gotten a lot of views. Gotten a lot of comments. I love engaging with y'all in the comments. So, again, don't forget to comment down below. Talk with me about your favorite team, who they should trade for. And I'll try and workshop some stuff out. If you have any trade ideas, leave them down below. I'll run them through the Fanspo thing for you, and I can even let you know if it goes through or not. You know where MPJ would be perfect that just, it's not going to happen. It would make so much sense, though. Orlando. That seems so perfect to me, but it can't happen because, again, who are they going to give up $38 million? Are you going to give up Bane? They can't. They just traded for him. They traded 5 picks for him, by the way. Yeah, it's not going to happen, but boy, would that be really exciting. How the fuck does Jonathan Isaac still have 4 years left on his deal? How the fuck does Jonathan Isaac have 4 years left on a deal? What is this? What? Oh my God, Jonathan Isaac's contract is fucking money laundering. That's money laundering. He's a bad ball player. What's he averaging this year? 2 and 0.1. 2 and 2, and he's getting paid 15. Oh, his defense is elite. He's such a net negative on offense. I mean, I don't know. How the fuck does he still have 4 years left on his deal? My mind is fried. But this isn't going to work. This trade would never work. Michael Porter Jr. to the Nets, it would never happen. But boy, would it be fun because they need a bomber. But the team that was looking at him was the Golden State Warriors. They were looking at him. Michael Porter Jr. is making $38 million. That's quite a bit. And I remember how we talked about, the Warriors were debating whether they would have to give up Jonathan Kuminga in this deal to get him. Yeah, you would, because what else are you going to give up? Jimmy? Are you going to give up Draymond? It's like Kuminga, it's Moody, it's Podziemski, and I still don't even think that makes the money work. Yeah, I don't even think it comes close to making the money work. $57K. Okay, so it does come close. They need to give up $600K. Go buy him a nice car or something. That's basically what $600K is. You're not getting Will Richard because he can ball. You can have Seth Curry. He's recently signed, so it'll tell me I can't trade him. Fucking ignore them. I don't know if this will work now. So it does go through, but Jonathan Kuminga can't be traded until the 15th. Seth Curry cannot be traded at all this season because he signed late. So either way, they got to make up $600K, but this is the basis of the trade is Kuminga, Moody, Podziemski. Here's the kicker. The Nets don't fucking want any of those players. They don't. The Nets don't want Jonathan Kuminga. The Nets they might want Moses Moody. Good movement shooter, can play off guard with Doman. Podziemski, maybe they kick the tires on him, see what they can get. They don't want these players really, though. What's the alternative? By the way, the Warriors getting 3 wins worse by giving up these fucking 4 shitters. Give me a break. That's hilarious. To be honest with you, this is 4 not great basketball players for 1 pretty good basketball player, right? I talked to a Nets fan in the comments my last time I did Trade Machine. He's very reasonable. These players all suck. Let's just face facts. That's what makes this trade really difficult to believe is the fact that the Warriors' 3 assets are just bad. Jonathan Kuminga's so young. Yep, but he's terrible right now. He's not a basketball player. He's a freak athlete who can dribble the basketball. He's not a basketball player. He can't shoot threes. He's not as good in the mid-range as he started. This season in the mid-range, he started out so well. Now it's like, it's back to normal. the water, high tide, low tide. It always ends up in the middle, right? Moses Moody isn't a 3-and-D guy like we thought he could be as well. 12.5 points, though. That's not bad for him. I'd say Podziemski's probably got the highest ceiling here because he has shot over 40% before in a season, I believe, and he can play make a little bit, 3.5 assists. He's probably the highest ceiling guy there, but why do the Nets even want him? They have 5 point guards. None of them are from America, but they're all playing here right now. Doman has looked all right this year. I watched Traore play yesterday, or 2 days ago. I forget when that was. He was on the floor. I remember he missed a floater in the lane, I believe. I don't know. I think it's an interesting trade, but I don't think this is realistically going to happen. Here's another one that came out the other day. The Bulls are interested in making a trade. Well, they're shown to have here. I can show the tweet. Brett Siegel also said, I've heard some smoke about Chicago scouting Zion. It's a thought. They were looking for a Pascal Siakam to go with their Tyrese Halliburton and Josh Giddey. They're drawing the comparison there. Is Zion close enough to Pascal Siakam? Not really. Pascal's a better basketball. I would say a more technically sound basketball player than Zion is. Zion's a really, really good player, don't get me wrong, but Pascal can at least step out and hit a fucking jumper. Zion can't. But where Zion beats him is the fact that he's, a freak athlete. So if they were to trade Zion to the Bulls would have to give up Zach Collins, who's expiring. That's fine. An expiring deal in Zach Collins. 2 expiring deals. Here, you could take Kevin Huerter too. And then picks. Picks galore. You can have this Portland pick that's protected. You can have this first-round pick in 2030, and then you can have a 2030. Ooh, I don't think I'd be able to give that up. I'll give up 2027 first-round pick. No, I'm not giving up 3 first-round picks for Zion, actually. The more I think about that, that ain't happening. You can have some seconds, but I don't think I'm giving up multiple first-round picks for Zion when the guy has fucking weight-related clauses in his contract. Like, are we serious? Would this trade go through? It would. Zach Collins, Kevin Huerter, a first-round pick in 2 seconds for Xanos, Freaky Z, the best nickname in sports. The Bulls get 2 wins worse. Again, I don't get how. Zach Collins hasn't played a ton this year. And Red Velvet, I like Red Velvet. He's a local guy from where I'm from, very local. Shenendehowa High School, pretty good guy. But I don't get how the Bulls get 2 wins worse out of this. But the Bulls take a real chance getting Zion here. It's a guy that can sell tickets, I'll tell you that much. People come to watch him dunk and do his freak athleticism stuff. And the Bulls play fast. Who knows? Maybe they can help out a little bit. I don't know. They're not giving up a ton of pick equity. Why? Because Zion's very injury prone, and you're getting 2 expiring deals out of this. The Pelicans can really help bolster their future there. You get some money off the books in Zion, and then you pick up a first-round pick in 2 seconds. Like, this is a real, I don't mind it. If you don't like this trade offer and what you're going to tell me is well, we didn't get enough picks, okay, imagine they added 1 more on there. Would that make your mind happy? Either way, it's 2 expiring deals, which gets money off the books. The defense for the Bulls gets a lot worse. Well, let me tell you, the defense for the Bulls has never fucking existed. It hasn't for the last, 3 years it hasn't. The Pelicans' offense gets a lot worse. Yeah, I can believe that one. But getting Zion off of New Orleans, or out of New Orleans in general, it would get him to Chicago. Chicago is looking at Anthony Davis. Now, he's hurt. He's done for a while. And he's looking for an extension in Dallas. AD doesn't even want to leave, it seems. So the Bulls will be getting their power forward of the future, quote unquote, who's still only, 26 or something like that, 25. It's interesting. Giddey can play the point guard role and get you a bunch of assists. Zion can help, but they still have no defensive infrastructure, which is very difficult to win with, or more so to win without. But Zion to the Bulls is a very interesting trade offer. Let me know down in the comments how you guys feel about that. I think that's the last trade I got in mind for you folks on here. If you enjoyed this video, thank you for watching all the way through. Like and subscribe. Again, thank you all for joining me. Thank you all for the love recently. I've been shooting up since January, or since mid-December. I said shooting up. Guys, I'm not a heroin addict. I'm going to go catch the game. I'll see you guys in the next one.